So I was bored one day and got a message from my college esports team that they were doing a special streaming event. I haven't really participated in a lot of events besides like one, but I thought why not join this event and have some fun. So the event was planned to run like this. There were 10 different events for the stream from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. But I saw Wii Sports and Mario Kart and had to sign up for those two. I sent a DM to this guy named Lucas and he gave me the okay on doing both games. Wii Sports was the first game for the event and 8 of us were divided into 2 teams. These were the teams for the Wii Sports event. The rules of this were simple. We would play a best of 3 and the winner of 2 sports was the winner. The loser of a sport would pick the next sport we would play. Each team would send in someone they would want to play in the sport, so Noah and I were sent in first for tennis, something that I was not prepared for. I had played one game of baseball as practice leading up to the event, and months ago I played bowling trying to get a 300, which was never achieved, so playing tennis I needed to shake a little bit of rust off. All we needed to do was win a best of 3 set. In set 1 we were not looking so hot as we were down by a bit and my rust was starting to show. Eventually we tied it, but this serve by Noah just barely hit the net and got out of bounds, and then it was 40-30 when they got a super hit and it threw me off guard, forcing me to whiff on the ball.
For green team. Ooh, the smoke on that one. Oh.
Okay, down 1-0. We can still win, just need to lock in, and
I think you're right.
Said Noah.
I think you're right. It makes sense because they're standing next to each other. That the teammates, a tough one there. That's a really tough hit.
No, not this clip.
We will be getting
Tristan's doing the serves right now.
in future. We'll be doing. Up in the air, gets it down, gets it by, but that one goes
nice
out.
out.
There's also a chance here that this could be sending us to a game 3 in this quick best of 3, and on a quick roll here. And it goes right by him.
I guess they really liked how the ball looked, but now tied at 1-1, we needed to win the last one to be 1-0. This first point started with Noah hitting the net and barely getting it inside the line, something he was not able to do earlier. Missing the ball on the second score, and just like that, we were up 30-love. But then we blundered a little bit and then let them come back by hitting the net and just barely going out of bounds. But we both knew we had to lock in. They hit the ball out of bounds, setting up a game point for us. One more point, and we were 1-0. And on this match point, something magical happened.
Gets by into the back. This has been our longest round so far. Hits the net. Can't get it over.
And they just swung it under the net, which allowed us to win. Tristan pulled Miles Morales' shocked face as he realized he just cost his team the game. Noah and I were pumped, pulling off the win and setting us up for the next sport, bowling. For bowling, we sent in Josh. And in the game of bowling, Josh did not miss. And just like that, we were champions of Wii Sports. But because we won in both sports, we did baseball anyways to fill in the missed time. In the first inning, it was dominant pitching. And when we got the hit, we let it off with a double. And then an error had us with runners on the corners. And then it was Josh's turn to bat. After a great performance in bowling, he let us off with this.
Going for the delay. Got it.
They
Josh
put in
hits
a
it.
lot
Oh!
right at big.
That's going to be a double.
That's going to be a triple. Oh,
Double.
It was going to be close to a triple.
That's a point though on the board.
My first at-bat of the game ended with me hitting right to the second baseman, and a strikeout put us in a situation where we could leave 2 runners on base. But in the way for our opponent from hitting was Noah, looking to help us increase our lead. Immediately had the first 2 strikes put on him, but then stayed alive with foul ball after foul ball. On the 8th pitch of the at-bat, Noah opened up the game.
Evan is stunned. He doesn't know what hit him.
This first inning basically summarized everything that had happened in the Wii Sports section. For what was once hopeful when they won Game 1 of tennis to completely fall apart. Having a chance to close out the first inning and letting the game just slip away was the perfect ending to a dominating performance from our team in Wii Sports. Afterwards, we held an interview and I obviously had a lot to say about our performance.
It was honestly really easy. They went into this, they were very confident that they would win. Honestly, you know, it was
Light work
easy.
for the Nintendo players.
Yeah. Pretty light work, yeah. I'll be winning Mario Kart.
Little.
After this event, it would be another 8 hours before I would play on stream for the last event of the stream, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So how the Mario Kart event worked was Chris and Jason would pick either Noah or I to be on their team, and we would play a 4-race Grand Prix with each track being decided by each of us. In order to win the Mario Kart event, you have to win the best of 3. Now Chris is really good at Mario Kart. Race 1, we were on Mute City. I chose Funky Kong because come on, who wouldn't? So nothing huge happened on the first 2 laps. All 4 of us were in the top 4 with Chris and I second and third on the final lap. But in the final part of the race, Jason tries to go for a shortcut and ends up falling off the map, letting Chris get the victory on race 1. However, I got Mario Karted, getting hit by multiple items, and I had to slowly crawl myself to the finish line, getting 5th place. After race 1, we were only up by 4 points, and I was just starting to warm up as we head into race 2 on DK Summit.
As Link, Chris, top right has.
Yeah, great start to the race, Perry. Now, I was not a gamer for going for the shortcut, but shout out to Chris for going for the shortcut. Earned some real gamer points there. So far, these races have not had a lot of intense moments, but after lap 2, I was helping the team out by being in 2nd place, while Chris was in 1st. I ended up getting hit by a bullet bill, but it didn't matter as lightning came out and was able to allow me to get 2nd place with ease.
Gonna roll right on through. It's gonna be a 1-2 finish for Blue.
Chris and I were able to finish with the top 2 places, with our team having a 10-point lead after race 2. Race 3 was going to be on Music Park. So far, the tracks that have been chosen, I have a lot of experience with them. So no tracks yet that I have been unfamiliar with. Also didn't burn out this time. So we're already doing better than the last race. While Chris and Jason were fighting for 1st place on lap 2, I got hit by a star, putting me farther behind in 5th place. Also bumping into the music note led to a poor lap 2, which needed to be fixed if we wanted to win the first Grand Prix. Thankfully, on lap 3, the blue shell hit Noah and I was able to squeak by and finish in 3rd place. Solid comeback to make up for my poor performance at the beginning of the race. But there was one problem. The CPUs for their team got 5th through 9th, while our CPUs finished on the bottom, meaning they were able to make a huge comeback in the score, leaving an intense last race. The last race of the Grand Prix, I chose to go on DK Mountain, another familiar track for me from my days of playing Mario Kart Double Dash. Lap 1 didn't necessarily go to plan as I got hit by a couple of items, but shoutouts to the 4th place bullet bill. Pretty cool Mario Kart. Lap 2 saw much of the same, but Chris tried to be a gamer but just missed the shortcut. However, he kept his 1st place onto lap 3. I'll be honest, I don't know how I was getting as lucky as I was with these items that should be meant for last place and 4th, but sadly it didn't matter as the blue shell was dodged, Chris fell off again, and they took 1st and 2nd. Now remember how last race the CPUs on our team were pretty bad? Well, it kind of happened again except for Dry Bones, which was time to see if Chris and I had a 1-0 lead. Losing the first set hurts more in the way we lost because we did have the lead. Obviously, there were things that I needed to do to help improve our performance, which was swapping my controller. Thanks to Evan, the one who threw this pitch, he gave me his pro controller to use for the rest of Mario Kart. And honestly, this might be what could lead us to the win. Like we were close before, and with a charged controller, it could work. For this next set, I decided to go with Dry Bones. Stick with the B-Dasher as it's the car I have been using since Mario Kart DS. And even if it isn't the most viable kart in this game, it still holds a special place in my heart. Our rule change for this set was to have the CPU be on hard. The first race would take place on Big Blue, and for me, I had to lock in. I was just given a new controller to work with and had already said that I would win Mario Kart.
I'll be winning Mario Kart.
Little.
And with this first race, nothing really interesting happened except for at the very end.
Hitting each other down. They're gonna race each other to the finish line. 1-2. The blue shell at the finish line still gets across in second.
Just like that, I was so close to getting my first place of the series. Chris and I laughed it off, and we continued with our momentum to race 2 on Waluigi Pinball. With all of the experience playing Mario Kart DS with the B-Dasher, I finished lap 1 in 6th place, getting hit by items and bumpers in the process. However, I wasn't doing the worst out of the 4 of us, with Noah in 8th place. Lap 2 was about the same, moving to 5th place, still getting hit by items. Chris was in 1st place and I was in the middle working my way up. Looking at the others, no one was in 2nd or 3rd, so if I got 2nd, that could help the team get a huge lead in the standings, really helping us out. So I started picking up the pace.
Jeez.
Our players have all fallen back to 5th and 6th, and all of a sudden Perry has moved all the way into 2nd place, taking their way through the center block again. The blue players continuing to battle. Perry's moved into 1st. Jason's fallen all the way back to 8th. Wrapping around, Perry is going to cross the finish line in 1st.
Chris might have finished in 4th place, but a 1st place finish by me, along with their CPUs finishing the bottom 3, we had a commanding lead going into race 3. On Hyrule Circuit, the best player of the event was in 1st place, and I was in 2nd, but I felt like hugging a tree.
Each other's way. Maybe thinking they had a mushroom there.
And was in 4th place on the final lap, and both Chris and I at the very end of the race had some close finishes.
Gets a shell. Jason takes 1st. He's got a pair of mushrooms in hand as well. Gonna use them to the finish line. A 1st for Jason is Chris. The race for 4th and 5th. Came from so far behind, he beats him at the line.
The score was now closer than earlier, but as long as Chris and I got 1st and 2nd, then it should be enough to force a game 3. And this race was, to put it short, domination. Chris and I pretty much held control of the race. On the last lap, I had the lead and decided to have a little bit of fun near the finish line.
Is Jason going to be able to catch him at the line? Going to try and take the shortcut. Can't quite beat him to the line.
Wow, that's close finishes though.
And with that, we took set 2 of the best of 3 series, meaning one more would crown Chris and I champions of Mario Kart. I stuck with the same character because of how well it worked last time. The rule change for this set were the races becoming 200cc, which I'm not very good at. Usually when I play, I bump into a bunch of walls, so I was a little worried if I could even perform at the same level I did on the 2nd set. But I couldn't worry about that, with us starting on Rainbow Road, and the results for me were quite unexpected. I was performing really well, and with a solid performance from Chris, we had a 6-point lead after race 1. Shoutouts to Evan, by the way, for being my biggest fan.
I'm a Perry admirer. I'm a Perry fan. He's my boy. I gave him my controller before this. He's locked in with it. He's doing absolute God's work with this controller right now.
For our next race, we would be going on a tour track. This race was my worst performance out of all of them so far, in 10th place after lap 1, as I kept bumping into every wall. Luckily, Chris was in 1st, so we were still okay, and Noah and Jason were right around me. Heading into the last lap, after crashing into the statue, I was in last place with only a golden mushroom to my name. If I got last here, I would need for our CPUs to do well, for my performance to be a little bit more forgivable. Luckily, this race, I wasn't the one in last place, but Chris and 2 of our CPUs got the top 3 spots, giving us a 22-point lead. Race 3 was on Mushroom Gorge, and I've had my own moments on this track. Okay. With our big lead, it was looking like it was over, but I needed to do well and not get 11th place again. Lap 1 was near perfect. The best racer was one of our CPUs and then me. Chris was in 5th, but the rest of the race was a great performance by Chris and I, where he was finally able to hit a shortcut. The score was unreachable, and we had basically won a 38-point lead heading into the final track of the event. And for this last race, I had to give the fans what they wanted.
But this is the last race already in this?
It is.
Here we go into race number 4, set number 3.
I won't go over much of this race because it was most of what has happened in the previous races, but Chris got 1st, I got 5th, and Jason and Noah got 7th and 8th. And with our performance, we won the Mario Kart event. Sure, it wasn't done in the best way as we had to come back, but I fulfilled my promise to win Mario Kart. After the event, Josh held some interviews and I had to speak my mind on the performance.
On the mic, my fellow Wii Sport dominator from the first game of the day. We held the W then, and we'll hold it again now. How does that feel? Wow.
It feels really good. I knew the entire time that I was going to win. I said it during the Wii Sports section that I was going to win, right?
And nobody believed us then either.
And no one believes in it. Huge shout outs to Evan. He gave me some beef jerky. I don't know if you guys caught that on stream. I knew that we were going to win the entire time. Yeah, and I did want to let Chris get some screen time with getting 1st place. I don't want to take all the credit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, felt like
to her a couple times, like, oh, let's just slow up just a little bit. We'll let
Chris win, but you know, we got first and second, and you know, we were locked in the entire time. Oh, is that the end?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
we're
well
done.
then, great finale.
Overall, the event was a lot of fun to participate in. Huge shout outs to my college esports team for putting this together. And if you enjoy, click the video that's on screen because it's what YouTube thinks you'll enjoy.